Okay, this video is going to talk about inductive arguments and deductive arguments. So it looks like my spacing unfortunately erased that. This should say deductive arguments above this. All right. So inductive arguments, it looks like we're going to go from something specific. We start with something specific, like I see dogs chase mailmen. My dog chases a mailman, or sorry, plural, mailmen. To something, I'm going to conclude something very general, that all dogs chase mailmen. And hopefully automatically it's not sitting well with you, right? It's a pretty overgeneralization. This is how stereotypes happen, right? So inductive argument goes from something specific to forming a general conclusion. Where deductive arguments, I'm starting with something general. All cars have at least two doors. A Subaru Impreza is a car. And then I make a conclusion that's pretty specific. So a Subaru Impreza has at least two doors. So it's going the other way. It's taking something general. You could say general examples or premises. It's nice to use premises because it will help us in our next couple examples. And I go to a specific conclusion. Now with deductive arguments, the logic sits better with us. We go from something general, it follows, and then I can make a conclusion based off the statements above it. Where inductive, again, is you're overgeneralizing. It's kind of too hard to prove, right? Just because you have some data on this doesn't mean it's true always. So that's why inductive arguments cannot be used to prove its conclusion. The only way to evaluate inductive arguments is in terms of its strength. So at best, if the argument is strong, then the conclusion may be true. A lot of convincing is going to have to happen. Where with a deductive argument, it can be used to prove its conclusion. And the two ways you're going to prove it is in terms of validity and soundness. Now, how you check to see if an argument is valid, it's based off if the conclusion follows the premises. So even if you have no knowledge of the argument, if the premises can lead you to that conclusion, then it's going to be valid. Just like if we look back at the car example. Okay, I'm given the fact that all cars have two doors, a Subaru Impreza is a car, well then I can make that conclusion based off those premises. So this argument is valid. Soundness is based off if the premises are true and the argument is valid. So if it's not valid, it can't be sound. So for this example, I'm going to scoot this up again. Well, okay, my conclusion is based off of my premises, so it's valid. It's also sound since the two premises are in fact true. All right, so let's go ahead and do example 3. And it's saying determine whether each argument is inductive or deductive. And then our next example we'll talk about to determine if it's valid or sound, and or sound. If Dennis misses work and there is a party at work, then Dennis will miss the party. So if I look here, if Dennis misses work, that's pretty general, right? I mean, there's multiple reasons of why he could miss it. And then I get to something that's pretty specific. He's going to miss the party. So that's why this is a deductive argument. In contrast, if you look at B, we're saying the chair in the living room is red. That's pretty darn specific, right? And then the chairs in the other rooms are also red. Therefore, all the chairs in the house are red. So we went from something specific to something general. So that's why this is inductive. So let's try the last one. It is dangerous to drive on icy streets. The streets are icy, so it is dangerous to drive now. So we go from something pretty general, right, to something way more specific. It's dangerous right now. And so that's why this argument is deductive.